ونستغفر ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Alhamdulillah, we are here now in the month of Ramadan, and as has been our new habit now, to talk for a few minutes before we start reciting. We spoke about the first juz, we spoke about the second juz. Today we're going to talk about the third juz. And we're just going to talk about the thematic and the summary of the juz. We're not going to get into all the different ayat, but I want you to understand where this Qur'an is going. In the second juz, it ends off by saying, وَإِنَّكَ لَمِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. It says, oh, you, Muhammad, you are one of those messengers. You are a messenger sent, Rasul. The third juz picks up by saying, تِلْكَ الرُّسُلُ فَضَّلْنَا بَعْضُهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ. It picks up, like the second one picks up where the first one ends, with the dua of Ibrahim, and then it begins with how important Mecca is for the Muslims. The third one picks up where the second one left off, referring to issues of the messengers and showing the different ranks of the different messengers. Afterwards, principles of messengers are given and some points about revelation in general. And then the great Ayatul Kursi comes into our forefront. Now, what is Ayatul Kursi? Now, Ayatul Kursi has been, we all know, it's the most important ayah in the Qur'an. But why? If you note from the beginning of the Qur'an until we get to Ayatul Kursi is the most descriptive description that we get of Allah up until that point. That ayah describes in great detail that you don't find in other ayat who and what Allah is all about. Okay, so when you recite this ayah, think about what is it telling you about your Lord, about Allah. Then after that, we get on to what Allah is. Allah is waliyu. He is the friend and helper and protector of those who believe. And then it tells you what? And Taghut. Taghut is the friend and protector of those people who disbelieve. Immediately after that, you're given a great example of that in the life of Ibrahim. Again, what is established in Surah Al-Baqarah is that this religion is the religion of Abraham. And that all the fundamental principles have been established by Abraham, point after point. Even here, when Ibrahim argues with Nimrod, okay? Nimrod was the first person to marry his mother. This is that King Nimrod is. He argues with him. He declares, and what we find from this story is the existence of Allah. The intellectual argument to show the existence of Allah. Then afterwards, the story of Uzair and his donkey, and then also again back to Ibrahim, where he wanted to see how resurrection is going to be, resurrection after death. And so he was told to cut up the birds. Again, what is established in these stories is that not only is there the existence of Allah, but there's life after death. There is resurrection after dying. And so these things are, again, established by Ibrahim. And I always think that this is underemphasized to the Muslims that don't recognize, because we always think about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But in actuality, what you'll find when you read the third juz is that there is a progression in the Qur'an. We go from establishing the principle. The first thing Islam does in this Qur'an, Allah does in the Qur'an, is establish the principles through Ibrahim, through the millah, the religion of Ibrahim. We'll go through it. First, in the first juz, what does he do? He establishes the Kaaba. Then after that, he asks Allah to make Mecca an established place, and a place of safety. Then he asks, since he passed the test of Allah, then he asks Allah to give this favor of guidance, holding the banner of God to his offspring. He's told, no, only those people who are righteous, not on the wrongdoers. Then after the second juz, the Qibla is changed to where our mother Hajar, the wife of Ibrahim, made those rites of Hajj and Umrah. Then after this, the Qibla is turned that direction, and the rites of Hajj and Umrah are established. In the third juz, we have more examples of his life to establish the existence of Allah and the resurrection after death. After this point right here, the rest of the surah deals with monetary exchanges, or what we call monetary transactions and spending. And it goes into, again, detail after detail, point after point, explaining how we're supposed to spend and what we're not supposed to do, and doing it in secret. And the best of it is done with ikhlas, and not to mention that you did it. All these reiterating the points about spending. Why? What's the connection with the first? After you establish that there is resurrection after death, then spend now in this world to get the reward from Allah in the hereafter, the goodly loan. So this is established. Even then, at the end of the spending, the lawful spending is explained. Then it goes into the unlawful types of monetary transactions, a riba. So riba comes to parallel. Just Allah is not just giving you the right, He's telling you what's wrong and giving it great examples. This is riba. And what is riba? And then after that, He follows that up with the longest ayah in the Qur'an, still dealing with monetary transactions, debts. How to deal with establishing and doing a debt. All this is one theme, following after the other one. Because what is taqwa? And it mentions again, so that we can have taqwa, we learned from the second juz, is that taqwa is what? Obeying the laws of Allah. Every time we went through that second juz, what is that? لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ لَعَلَّكُمْ يَتَّقُونَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ حَقٌّ عَلَى الْمُتَّقِينَ. It kept mentioning. This right of qisas is so that you can have taqwa. This is siyam, so you can get taqwa. This is going on, don't drink. This is so you can have taqwa. And so showing that the following the religious or quote-unquote the laws, ibadah, laws of ibadah, you have taqwa. Again, following and paying the debt in the way Allah teaches us is so that we can have taqwa. The surah ends out by giving us the articles of faith, establishing the articles of faith. To believe what the messenger believes and those believers with him, what they believe in Allah and His last day and the books and the hereafter. So this is established first and foremost in that first chapter, that second chapter, Baqarah, and then we move on to the second chapter. Now, the second chapter, or the third chapter actually, Ali Imran. Now, what is the big deal with Ali Imran and what's his connection with Baqarah? Baqarah starts off, Baqarah and Ali Imran are very similar. First of all, they both start with Alif Lam Mim. Second, they're both the two longest surah in the Qur'an. Second, right after Alif Lam Mim, both of them begin to talk about the Qur'an. And then afterwards, they make, again, contrasting examples of different types of people. In Al-Baqarah, it talks about those who believe, those disbelieve, those people who take Allah as a joke, and those munafiqeen. In Ali Imran, it talks about those people who have perversity, have sickness in their hearts, and they want to know the intricate things that they cannot never know, and those people who have firm, grounded knowledge. He's different. Why is this example given? This example, these parallel examples, because in Baqarah, we deal with what? Over a third of Baqarah deals with what? The Bani Israel and the crimes of Bani Israel. We spoke about that. So now, because after Bani Israel comes who? The Christians. And so Ali Imran, over half of Ali Imran is going to deal with the Christians. The whole example after example, what to say to them, what their argument is, and the fallacy in their argument. Back to back. So these surah, in Baqarah, we deal with the creation of man, Adam. In Ali Imran, we deal with the creation of Isa and how it is similar, yet dissimilar, to the creation of Adam. So these surah, they have a great, and if we look at that and try to understand it, listen for it. Ya Ahl al-Kitab, Ya Ahl al-Kitab, Ya Ahl al-Kitab. Oh, people of the book. In this essence, it's a little bit different. Why? Because these people are astray. So the argument to them is a more pleading, saying, look, what's wrong with you? Don't you see this? Don't you see that? Where the other one is inad. The Jews, they were stubborn. So the argument to them is not even an argument, just showing, look what they did. Look how they acted. Don't be like this. We're here to say to them this. Call them in this way. It's a total different argument if we go through it. And one of the things that Imam always wants us to pinpoint something. If you note that in the beginning, in just the second juz, what are we told? When we're given that page of prophecy, where Allah tells us they're going to say, be Jews or Christians, tahtadu, you will be guided. Tell them, rather, we follow the religion of Ibrahim, right? And we follow what was sent down to us and sent down to all the prophets, and start naming all the prophets. The same exact argument is said to the Christians in the third juz. It said to them, yo, Ahl al-Kitab, why are you arguing with us about Ibrahim? And the Torah and the Injil, they didn't even come down until after Ibrahim had gone. So you want to know something? We believe in Allah and the messengers and everything that was sent down, and start naming the same prophet. So the argument is not dissimilar. It's the exact same argument. And just not to miss a point, because there is a point that I missed. That's why, alhamdulillah, I don't like to use paper, but I don't want to lose my points here. There's a point here that's very important. In Al-Baqarah, what did I say? I said that the whole of Baqarah deals with Ibrahim, right? Establishing the religion of Ibrahim. The religion of Ibrahim. Through its complete practical application today. Ali Imran doesn't do it that way. It mentions Ibrahim. It mentions that, hey, we're following Ibrahim. But here is a declaration of Tawheed. Not just Tawheed. The oneness of Allah is over and over reiterated to the Christians. That there is only one Allah, and that Islam. So the declaration of Islam comes in this third juz in Ali Imran, where it declares that inna deena indallahi al-Islam. So no longer are we mentioning the religion of Ibrahim in that context. We've built on that foundation, and now has grown the tree. What is the tree now? The deen of Islam. And deen is different from religion. This is what we have to understand. The religious outlook is one thing. Right? Hunafa. Now the deen is the way of life. This is what we get from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The expression of that way of life, of that religion of Abraham to its completion, and that's what Islam is all about. There will be no deen accepted except Islam, and it's built on that foundation set by Ibrahim. I hope as we recite these ayat that we think about the Qur'an is them. You know, the Orientalists, they have done a disservice, and we've done a disservice to ourselves by listening to them. Okay? The Qur'an, they say the Qur'an is just put together by big surah to the small surah. No. When we go through this Qur'an and we see it thematically, it is put in this way, and it is not put in this way by no human. It is put in this way, and it is like a change, a paradigm change, one after the other, helping us to understand what our objective here is and how to manage ourselves in this life. Less than 15 minutes. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم.
5 minutes more. Imam Sayyid guest him.
Now?
I said, if you can go 5 minutes and wait, Imam Sayyid guest him.
You want me to do what? Now? Okay. Well, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. I mean, if I have a question, then I'll take a question. Then if we have 5 minutes. No question. Okay. You know, let me just go over this again. Then, you know, I don't know what to say to you guys because I put it in such terse terms.
Tell us a little bit about the riba that you were mentioning.
Okay, as far as riba, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. When we speak about infaq, jazakallah khair for the tawjih. When we speak about infaq, Allah mentions how to spend and not to give what you don't want, not to do it in secret is better, not to mention it, and then riba is mentioned. What is riba? Riba is this interest that you pay something and you not only do you get in trouble for asking for it, you get in trouble for paying it also. This is the thing, and that those people that don't give up dealing with riba interest, then they have taken a declaration of what an adhan. Understand the language. We call the adhan all the time. Adhanun min Allah. You're getting an announcement, a call to war, okay, from Allah. And it's said that on the last day, when we are resurrected, those people that didn't give up the riba, the angels are going to come to them and drop weapons to them. Drop down some weapons to them just so it could be fair, okay? You in war with Allah. Pick a weapon. Can you imagine that? See, because, you know, our whole thing with Islam, you know, Islam, that we say over and again, we have submitted, we have accepted this idea. This is a mental thing also, how we view our worldview. Allah is telling us something. Can you imagine that? On the last day, you're going to have to pick up whoever is going to have to pick up weapons and fight against Allah. If you cannot imagine yourself doing that, then it makes it no sense whatsoever that we should continue in these transactions of riba. For what? when we hear in the Quran, ثَمَنًا, don't take the ayat of Allah, the signs of Allah, ثَمَنًا قَلِيلًا, for a miserly price. What is mentioned here by the different mufassirin is that, okay, you know you're going to get some benefit from this riba in this world. Some temporary, you think you're getting benefit. You buy the car, you pay for it 3 times. Okay? Seriously, you may pay only $50 a month, but you continue paying it for the rest of your life. Okay? So here, you think you're getting a benefit because you're getting something, but this is a weak thing. And on the last day, you have so much that you have to pay for. Or the person that's going to be on the last day or in the grave, he's going to be in a pool of blood. Pool of blood. And as he goes to the end, an angel opens his mouth and sticks a brick into his mouth, and he sinks down back into this blood. This is a crime, and this is the punishment for that crime. And it's very easy. The solution to living without riba is to live within your means. It's a very simple thing. Whatever you have, live within it. Stop chasing the Jones, as they say in America. Stop trying to have what you don't physically have. If you have the money for it, buy it. If you don't, say, I don't have it. A lot of times we want to impress the people. People think that if they come to America, the streets are lined with gold and it rains money, right? Some people don't want to go back to Senegal or back to West Africa because they don't have enough gifts. They're going to be looking, oh, you went to America and you didn't become successful? You're an idiot. Oh, if I'd have went, I would have, they don't understand it. And so you help this misunderstanding by making them think that you can actually do this. But you can't, because America is a cursed environment. Yes, there is money here, but half the money you get has to go back into being here. And that's not counting the tricks that they have you in. So you have to be honest with yourself and don't involve yourselves in those illegal transactions that are going to hurt you in the end. Especially when we know that there is the last day and it is coming. I could see if we were those people who just deny the resurrection. But is there anyone amongst us that denies the resurrection? No. I mean, is there anyone, if it's serious, some people may be Muslim and may not understand that concept. But is there anyone here that does it? Then how could we, in full consciousness, extend our hand past what we can actually do? Because we can't say no? Are we more afraid of our peers in our family than we're afraid of Allah? Are we not men that we could say, look, this is what I can do, alhamdulillah, and be satisfied? They say qina', satisfaction, is a kenz. It's a treasure that never goes empty, to be satisfied with what you have. Okay? I see brothers, some of you brothers I see, I work hard. Everybody works hard here in this city. It's the city of the 45-second minute. You have to work hard, right? It's no time to play games. So you do the best you can do, right? And we have to accept what Allah gives us and be grateful. And Allah tells us in the Qur'an, if you were grateful, what? فَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. He's going to give you more. Naam? And if you were ungrateful, what? Then his adhab is shadid. His punishment is real and severe. I wasn't prepared to talk about anything else. Okay. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. And I turn it over to the Imam. He's always ready to say something.